My neighbor called saying something was wrong. When I arrived, she pulled me inside and said, "Your cheating wife is home with 2 men. This isn't the first time. You need to catch them." Mrs. Yamamoto had lived next door for 12 years. She babysat our dog when we traveled. She'd never lied to me before. So when her voice cracked on the phone, I knew something was seriously wrong. I was 20 minutes away at work when she called. I told my boss I had a family emergency and drove home doing 70 in a 50 zone the whole way. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely grip the steering wheel. I kept replaying her words. This isn't the first time. How long had this been going on? How many times had I been the idiot husband working late while my wife? I couldn't even finish the thought. When I pulled up, Mrs. Yamamoto was waiting by her window. She waved me over frantically. I parked and ran to her door. "They're still in there," she whispered, grabbing my arm. "2 men. Same ones I saw last month. They come during lunch, always park down the street, but I've been watching. I felt sick. My wife Julia had been acting weird for months, taking calls in the other room, leaving the house for mystery appointments. She said it was work stress. I believed her." Mrs. Yamamoto kept talking. "I didn't want to say anything before because I wasn't sure, but today I saw them go in with briefcases, like they're conducting business in your bedroom." That detail hit me like a hunch. Business in our bedroom? I called my brother Evan, told him to get to my house now, told him to bring his bat. I wasn't thinking straight. I just knew I needed backup. While I waited, I moved my truck to block the driveway completely. No one was leaving until I got answers. Evan showed up 8 minutes later. His face was serious. He didn't ask questions, just nodded when I told him what was happening. We walked up to the house together. I still had my spare key, the one Julia didn't know I kept in my wallet. My heart was pounding so loud I could hear it in my ears. I slid the key in the lock, turned it slowly. The front door opened without a sound. Our living room looked normal. Julia's purse on the counter, her shoes by the door, 2 pairs of men's dress shoes next to them. I heard voices upstairs, muffled talking coming from our bedroom. Evan stayed behind me as we climbed the stairs. Each step felt like it took forever. I was trying to stay quiet, but my boots kept creaking on the wood. When we reached the top, I could hear them clearly. A man's voice saying, "We just need your signature here and here." My hands balled into fists. I looked at Evan. He nodded. I pushed the bedroom door open hard. It slammed against the wall. My wife was sitting on our bed between 2 men in expensive suits. One was holding a stack of papers. The other had a leather briefcase open on his lap. Julia's head snapped up. Her eyes went wide. "Babe, what are you doing home? Why do you have Evan with you?" I just stood there, my brain trying to process what I was seeing. The men looked uncomfortable. One started to stand. "I'm sorry, we can come back another time. Nobody's going anywhere," I said. My voice came out harder than I meant. "What the hell is going on?" Julia's eyes filled with tears. She looked at the men, then back at me. "I wanted it to be a surprise," she whispered. That's when I noticed the papers in the first guy's hand. Adoption agency letterhead in bold across the top. I stepped closer, trying to read upside down. "These are adoption counselors," Julia said quietly, her voice shaking. "We've been meeting for 6 months, doing home studies, background checks, financial reviews." I felt like someone had punched all the air out of my lungs. "Adoption?" She nodded, tears streaming down her face now. "You've been so sad about us not being able to have kids. I wanted to do something. I wanted to surprise you when everything was approved." The counselor with the briefcase cleared his throat. "We're finalizing the home study today, actually. Your wife passed every requirement. You both did. We just needed her signature on the final documents." I looked at Evan. He had his hand over his mouth, trying not to laugh. Then I looked back at Julia, who was crying harder now. "I ruined it, didn't I? I ruined the surprise." I sat down on the bed next to her. My legs felt weak. "So we're really doing this?" I asked. "You really want to adopt?" She grabbed my hand. "We're gonna be parents. The agency already has a birth mother who chose us. A little girl, due in 8 weeks." I turned to look at the counselors, then back at my wife. "8 weeks?" Julia smiled through her tears. "I was going to tell you next week at dinner. I had a whole plan." I stood up, walked to the window, and saw Mrs. Yamamoto peeking through her curtains. "I'm gonna go talk to the neighbor," I said. Evan followed me downstairs. When we got outside, I walked straight to Mrs. Yamamoto's door and knocked. She opened it, looking nervous. "Did you catch them?" "No," I said, trying to stay calm. "But you need to stop spying on my house. Those men are adoption counselors. My wife's trying to give us a kid." Mrs. Yamamoto's face went pale. "Oh my God, I thought I was helping." "Just mind your business from now on." I walked back inside where Julia was still sitting with the counselors, signing papers. She looked up at me. "Are you mad?" I sat down next to her and kissed her forehead. "We're gonna be parents."